Hello, everybody. I'm doing a special YouTube video today. It's going to be my first unboxing of novelties and stuff. And here is something that I don't know exactly what it was sent to me, but I can't wait. I'm anxious to open the box and see exactly what a buddy of mine sent me. Now, as the story goes, I have a good friend named Todd, and Todd ordered a special edition Ghost that was signed by the originator, Craig Tarbeck. And about a week later, he sends me an email and says, "Hey, would you believe my Ghost is still not here?" So he told me that the tracking said it was somewhere in his state, but he couldn't, it wasn't being delivered. They told him it was going to come on Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday came by, and apparently he didn't get the Ghost. Well, I said to him, "Well, Todd, I'm one of those guys that offers not only the retro experience, but I wanted you to feel like what it was like to be a kid and you had to wait 6 to 8 weeks." Well, he was hysterically laughing, and so was I. And in fact, when he sent me the letter after he finally received it and called it, he said, "Eddie, this is such fraud. Just like, whatever," he says, "I expected to get some type of omen that was going to scare my family, a huge 7-foot ghost that would obey my commands." And he says, "All I got was a plastic, a balloon, and a string." And he goes, "What fraud?" He says, "After thinking, instead of they calling you House of the Unusual, I should call you House of the Unusable." And then he went on to explain how much he loved the Ghost, and he said that he wanted to thank me for the experience. Anyway, I've become super friends with this guy. In fact, I wish I had met him earlier because he is such a phenomenal guy. And well, anyway, he sent me a gift, and I want you guys to see this box, which I'm going to treasure. I'm actually going to save this box, but right here he put House of the Unusable. I mean, it's unique. It was great. When I saw that, I said, "You got to be kidding." It was funny. Now, the funny thing about it is that I said to him, "Well, you know what? I could see that they sent it and somehow the postage fell off." So I said to him, "I know." He goes to me, "Oh, I sent postage." I go, "I know, because it wouldn't be sent for free." But the thing that I found it interesting is that even something that's unusable could be usable. Anyway, I'm going to treasure this box. I really appreciate what he's done, and I'm going to open it right now for the first time. See, I'm actually opening it for the first time. It's sealed. So I got my blade here, and I'm dying to see what is it that he's sending me. Because I tell you the truth, I can't wait. I was going to do it during a podcast that he was going to be on, but we weren't ready for the podcast. So I was trying to do like a Zoom live thing, and I guess I caught a few people by surprise. They thought it was going to be a podcast, so we decided to just do the regular Anchor radio instead of the... See, I'm being careful because I want to save this box. This is one of those things I treasure, and it's going to be with me for a while. So I want to make sure I don't break it here. And apparently, this is interesting. It's kind of stuck here at the end. I don't want to. This has got to be okay. Wow, I really. You know what? I'm going to cut it here because I want to save this box. I really don't want to... I'm slicing it across here because this box to me... This is... there you go. See? There's what... Now... I'm wondering what the heck he sent me, but I'm very anxious. Okay, the first thing we pull out here is... Okay. Gotta see what this is. I'm going to put it to the side, and let me open... In fact, let me just move the camera just a little bit here so we can get what I'm opening here. So, the first thing I'm opening... It's a lot of paper here. Is a tube. Looks like some sort of poster. So I'll put this away because, like I said, this is the stuff that I treasure. I mean, if one thing I could tell you in life is you meet people, you become friends, and what they give you as gift, that means a lot more than money, a lot more than, and that's the way I've always been. And I got to tell you right now, I love this guy, man. This guy is like number one here, man. I really enjoy it. Now, let me see. I want to actually take it out of here without cutting the actual thing. There's more stuff in here, I think. I'm going to have to open the tape here because I think there's more stuff here than... Okay, so I'm opening this. And I mean, this guy sent me a bunch of goodies, man. This is making me feel like when I was a kid and I told the mailman that I was going to get a really big box, man. My own 7-foot ghost. And then I got a little envelope that was interesting. By the way, if you guys notice this black nail thing is there, this is where I was moving my storage. I went to lift a huge display case that had sliding glass doors, and idiot me, I forgot that the doors would slide back, and when I lifted up, it boom, right into my finger that you see here. And it's been like 2 months now, and I'll tell you one thing. I got to Pluto and past the solar system for about a half an hour. Because the funny thing is I couldn't throw the case down. I had to put it down gently and then sit back and cry. Let me see. Ah, the first trick. The inside was white, so I thought there was another poster. There's not. So that was the first. Now, oh my goodness, this guy is awesome. All right. Wow, look at the stuff this guy. Now, he's the one that did this stuff. He's a creator of works for a media company. Look at this, man. This is cool stuff, man. I'm going to frame this stuff here, man. Look at this stuff. Look at this. By the way, he's got one of the largest collections of sea monkeys, I think, in the country. And he's an authority on it. So he needs to teach me a lot because I know a lot, but there's few things that I think, that I'm a, expert on. But he's definitely can teach me a few things. But anyway, this gentleman signed the bottom there to Eddie. And you know what, Todd, if you're watching this, buddy, thank you for becoming a part of my life, man, because I love talking to you, man. This guy can laugh. I'm going to have him in the next podcast, and we're going to do a Zoom because I got to be honest with you. He's fantastic. He's fantastic, man. That's nice. That's framed. That's going to be for me forever, man. And here, wow. Wow. See, the thing with me is that I love saving all this stuff. So I'm very careful because that's how I still have all my original paperwork on the ghost. Because I save everything that comes my way. And let me tell you, this is a hell of an experience. Ooh, baby. I'm anxious. I was holding it off to actually open this when I had him on the live podcast / Zoom call we were going to do. But I can't wait, man. I was desperate here, and I'm like, forget about it. I'll do an opening myself because oh, shit. Now, this is interesting. I'll tell you why this is interesting. When I was a kid, and I would see in fact, I might have an actual ad here to show you the ad I'm talking about. See, I didn't realize this was coming here, and I wasn't sure, but let me see something, because I do have a couple of comics. And oh, wow. I just found a letter here. When I first started in mail order in 1984, I used to work for this company. It was called More Mid-America Opportunity Research. And they were a fantastic company. And that's how I started my mail order business, selling books and stuff to them. Okay. I thought I had a copy of the ad here. And I don't know if it might be in this. You see, remember, monster size monsters. And this is the robot plants I bought as a kid. I like the Frankenstein on it. See? Abracadabra. They're not the ones. I'm still looking for the other one with the kid inside from the Melton Company. I spent 30 plus years, almost 38 years, looking for them. And to this day, let me just set this to the side here. Still haven't gotten them. Anyway. Oh, guess what? This one here, if you ordered it, the plants you would get were, they're here somewhere. Just saw them. Oh yeah, this were the plans. You got 2 pages folded in the middle, and it would show you how to build the. But that's not the one that I wanted later on in life. I wish, honestly, I would have ordered, because this one's I've come across a bunch of times on eBay. I've been selling them for years, but there was one in particular I always wanted, and I screwed up, man. For over 38 years and thousands of dollars I spent traveling all over the place in search of the Melton Company, trying to get the plans with the little kid inside. And let me tell you, never got them. I've hit every single wall that anybody could think of. Anyway, I really wanted to show you, because in order to tell the story correctly, it's best if I describe it. And apparently, and I had Todd on the phone yesterday or the day before. I was looking for something for him that he's wanted all his life, and he definitely earned it, that's for sure. Send them to him in the next day or so. I just want to take a couple of photographs, because I had 2 pairs. They were called Aqua Specs, and they were sold by the same company that made the sea monkeys and the x-ray glasses. But they're from the 60s, when it used to be under Honey Toy Industries. And apparently, what happened is that I had a second pair. And I told him, hey, Todd, don't worry, I got you covered. And you know what's so funny? That I saw a pair of x-ray glasses going for $500 right now. And I was like, wow, people really pay that much for that stuff? But anyway, I was looking for the ad to show, but apparently, what they say, you come somewhere not prepared. I mean, I do have them, but I'm not going to waste time. I just thought I might have them here real quick, and I could show, because I really wanted to show which ad I was talking about. But apparently, nope. I don't have one handy. Sad, sad, sad. I mean, I'm sure there is one, but not in my drawer. I have here other things. Books, magic books, all this stuff. Except the ad I wanted to show. What a coincidence, huh? It never fails with me. My son calls my storage. He says, once you go visit Daddy's storage, you don't come out. You're lost forever. But you see, another pack of ads. I think there might be a possibility. I really, really honestly want to show this, because in order to tell the story, you need to show the ad. And guess what? It's got to be, I don't know. Again, there's a couple things here that are interesting, but it might not be the copy that. Well, here is a poster that I used to sell and print out. This is the House of the Unusual Gazette, which was also painted by a very famous artist, a great friend. His name is Calf, and he's out of California. He's done a lot of work for me, and this guy, man, he does it out of his heart, because he's fantastic, man. He really is. He's actually working on my new cover for a book that I've been waiting to print for a long time, and it's taking a total of about 5 or 6 people. They were coordinating this thing and putting it together for me, and hopefully it's going to be much better than Mail Order Mystery ever was. It's going to have a lot of reading, a lot of history. I've actually contacted the people that I know, the people behind all the companies of the 70s, which in reality, it sounds crazy, and it kind of made me think of the other day when somebody said, Eddie, you're kind of the only person left alive that really deals with this. And that's because Craig Tarbeck, which ran Johnson Smith for about 40 years, and Lou Weiss, who was my partner in the original Fun Factory, because he owned the Fun Factory back in the 60s, I'm sorry, 70s. And then, of course, I took that over in the late 90s. He actually started with me as a partner, and I kept doing it. And then I changed it over to House of the Unusual. They ran it. They ran the business, but the problem with it is that they just did it as a business. What makes me different is I collected all the junk I bought as a kid and kept it. And when I look on the internet and I see all this crazy prices for x-ray glasses, which I have about 48 or 50 originals, and I see somebody asking $500, I go, that's absurd, man. Now, I'm not talking about the new, because they still make the x-ray glasses. Don't get me wrong. It's a cardboard version, but I'm talking about the ones that go back to the past, and the back of it says Honey Toy Industries, not Trans Science Corporation. And those are the ones that are really, really expensive. Now, the Aqua Specs that I'm giving Todd, my buddy who's doing this beautiful thing here for me, is also Honey Toy Industries. I don't have them here. I have them upstairs, so I'm not going to go and bring them, because, I mean, I don't want to make the video that super long. But if you look inside Mail Order Mysteries by Kirk Damaris, it's the glasses inside that book. That's the one that I'm going to give to Todd. I'm sorry, Todd. Made a mistake. And I'm also here looking for a skull ring for my friend that I promised I was going to send him. And I misplaced it a couple of weeks ago or days ago. I don't know. And I'm looking for that as well. And anyway, this here, this is not what we're talking about, but this here is the 7-foot monster robot plans that I've been looking for 38 years. And I'm telling you, I drove to Chicago looking for them. I drove all around South Florida where the melting company was, Miami Beach. I have the paperwork to prove this too. I mean, I have everything. I've done this for 38 years. And my friend, this right here, I still have no idea what they look like. I know what they look. I mean, I'm not going to give too much information on it in case somebody tries to say, hey, I got the original. I know exactly what the originals look like. But it's those plants from the melting company. Whoever has them would know if it's original or not. And let me tell you, I'm willing to negotiate a good deal for it, because see, here's like the rocket ship. This is from the pinball machine. Back in the day, it was called a haunted house. It's one of those pinball. I had an original. I lost it in the fire, so I actually had that photo taken. Here is my favorite game growing up. I lost mine in a fire that I had in 1995. I lost a lot of my collectibles. And this is like a mock-up. It's a 3.5 feet tall. You know, honestly, you can see that on the... Here you have the Lucky Toy Company, which used to sell, in back of all the comics, 100 toy soldiers, which I have about 6 of those sets. You know, it's... Now, here is another item that was very popular before the submarine. And I don't know if I told a lot of people, but I might be making an appearance in Pawn Stars with Rick Harris in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's interested in the sub. And there's one episode that they sold him a spy pen radio. That particular episode, he said that all he ever wanted all his life was the submarine. And what happened was his parents didn't buy it for him. So he goes, I never forgave them. And Cav, my buddy, the artist that draws for me, he got a hold of the producer stuff for me. You know, he got a hold of all the information I needed to write to. And they contacted me, and I'm waiting. I don't know with this COVID what they're going to tell me, but I'm supposed to go for next season sometime between now, they said, and October 30th. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to drive to Las Vegas from New Jersey. I mean, I think I have to, because the stuff that they're interested in looking, from the sub to the 7-foot ghost. The 7-foot ghost, which, here's the thing. I'm going to do an unboxing. I have not opened the 7-foot ghost from its original casing, where Michael's Arts and Craft, for $100 and some sealed it for me. I don't know, 11 years ago. And I still have it bubble wrapped, and I've never opened it since I took it out of Michael. So I'm going to open that. I'm going to have the sub, the two Ghost in the original casing so that you can see how they look, because I haven't seen them in years. But I'm actually going to take them out, and I'm going to open them, of course, not in here because I don't have the space, but I'm going to do it in an area. Now, if you guys remember this, the instructions that came with this particular item, I have a photocopy, but I lost my original instructions in the fire. If anybody has it and you're willing to sell me a copy of them, or I would be interested. I have over 20 original bats of these. In fact, I still have my original one that came in where you had to tie to the tail like a little rubber thing, so when you pulled it up in the window, it would go you know, like rattle noise. It would make scam. The thing is like this big, and they said 7-inch fangs because you know, like the wing right here. If you look right here, in each side of the wing, there's like a little hook, and they meant 7-inch fang. But when you read the ad, you think the fangs are like the teeth, you know. Anyway, that's that ad. Over here again, another copy of this. Now here's a copy of the famous rocket ship, which was before the tank and the submarine. The rocket ship was early 60s, late 50s, and it actually came out, you know, and it was very popular. But you know what? It's not sort of like they do with the submarine. Submarine is number one. Now this one here is a moon monster. I actually, 4806 Bergerland Avenue. It's actually about a mile away from where I live, and I've got original, and I also have an original poster which I think I'm gonna do out. I'm gonna actually print out pretty soon. It's like a 1959 version of this guy. He's standing sideways. You can see it inside Mail Order Mysteries when you see the moon monster. The one that he has kind of like a tail. That's a poster that's never been produced or anything. I've never duplicated it. I was thinking of doing it soon because anybody who's got a moon monster might want. Of course, this is the famous the Gale House, the haunting. Oh, by the way, I'm right now as we speak, except for COVID, it kind of put a little bit of a clamp in my business because, or a wrench, should I say, threw a wrench in my plans. What happened is that this record, the actual record, I'm having it reproduced in vinyl. There's a guy who, I'm not going to say the name of his company right now, but he is going to make the mask of this guy. Well, this mask, they never had a mask, but he made a special version of this mask. And I'm going to put the record and mask in a kit, like in a special box to commemorate the haunting. The Gale House haunting, it's actually like 11 minutes long. It's 6 minutes each side. As a kid, I was petrified of ordering this. In fact, I got to be honest. I was so scared as a kid of ordering this, I never did. I finally did get one in the 80s when I was an adult. But as a kid, this ad scared the cahoots out of me, man. And it took me, when I bought it, there was a store called Two Guys in New Jersey and New York. They were very popular. And there was the most popular record, which I have, believe it or not, about 30 copies. Don't ask me why. I'm an idiot. I just buy and buy. Disney's Sounds of the Haunted House. The chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house. The orange cover. As a kid, I bought that for $1.50 in Two Guys. I did not hear that record because I was terrified of listening to it. Okay? I think I heard it as an adult. But as a kid, I had the record. I loved the cover, but I was afraid of listening to the record. Okay? So those are things that people don't realize. Kids have a crazy imagination. And I remember when I would watch... how can I say, when I would watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, or Chiller Theater would come in at night, man, I can tell you this much. My mom would watch a soap opera, right? And when I saw it was getting close to 12 midnight, and I knew that Channel 11, or I think it was Channel 11 if I remember, Chiller Theater would come out, and they would show the Frankenstein face, right, in black and white, and it had like a shadow on one side, and would go with the storm behind it. If it said chill, that's it. I couldn't sleep that night. In fact, I was so terrified that my grandfather or my grandma, I used to make either or, because my mom and dad had me when they were very young. My mom, I think, was 15. My father was 17 in Cuba. And when I got here in 1968, my father stayed in Cuba, but they lived with my grandparents. So my grandparents raised me. So it was always my mom, papa. And, and I thank God I praise God, praise Jesus every day for letting me have them for so long. They both passed away recently, but one was 106, my grandmother, and my grandfather lasted to 100. And he kind of fell and hurt his head, so he could have lasted a little longer. But I can say I didn't enjoy my parents. Let's say my father, I got to see when I was 38. I was able to bring him from Cuba. Um, and it's crazy. I'm able to say mommy and daddy again, and I didn't have that growing up in my childhood in New York City. But that's probably why this passion of mine for all this novelty stuff was so important. I mean, I had a friend, and my friend was named Albert, and he basically was here a little longer than me, by a year or so. So he was able to read before I learned how to read. So I would ask him, what is this? What is this? And he would tell me, oh, yeah, the 7 foot goes. It's like Abbott and Costello. You can tell him, come. I believed everything he said. The imagination of a child is unlike any imagination one can have. The Polaris nuclear submarine, I was afraid of ordering that, believe it or not, in the beginning because, here's the reason, I didn't know how to swim, so I was afraid of drowning. I was afraid of putting it in the water and getting stuck in it. Insane. In fact, the imagination is so crazy that when I was in Cuba, and I was like 4, I guess, because I got here 4.5, 5, whatever, give or take, my mom, I was walking in the main city, which was a dirt road. It's freaking hillbilly town, right? And my mom, I see a Tonka truck, and it had a little steering wheel in the back of the dumpster. Like the Tonka truck was, the little Tonka, but it had a little steering wheel. And my mom, I don't know what she said. She must have confused it. She said, oh, that you can ride it. In other words, she made it look like it was a pedal car. Come on, man, a pedal car is this big. That thing is like this big. In my mind, I'm so stupid as a 4-year-old that I thought in my mind I could shrink and get on that truck. Well, same thing happened when I had the submarine. I thought the submarine, I could actually put it in my bathtub and walk inside the damn thing. Anyway, I just want to say, how dumb a child is, and that's why I guess I still sell all this stuff, because I want people to relive the childhood we had. There's nothing more passionate than to remember that second of the anticipation one had between let me put the envelope in the mailbox, to the 6 or 8 weeks of waiting and imagining something that was going to come in the mail. At the end of the day, you got defrauded. They send you a balloon. You thought you're getting a huge, like I told the mailman, I'm getting, same thing with the 7-foot Frankenstein, the monster-sized monsters. I thought that thing was going to be a statue. In fact, I said to myself, it's going to be like one of those, like those piggy banks they have of pigs, and ejection mold they call. I thought it was going to be one of those, and I figured that's why the Frankenstein, it's a statue. It's made of one of those. When I got a plastic in 2 pieces, I had to tape together. I got to be honest with you, I know there was something wrong. I could tell I was ripped off, but one thing I could also tell, I didn't care. I wanted it so bad. I was happy with it. And let me tell you, I put it up in the wall, and it did scare a lot of people, because when you forget it's there, you have a white wall, you stick this Frankenstein on it, the plastic, it's huge, it's 7 feet tall. You go, oh my God. Because when you don't expect the person, it was there. And I had it in the hallway facing my room. Anyway, as the story goes, I did wind up getting like 10 originals from the original Honor House. This is what happens. Between the ages of 5 and 13, you live as a kid. You don't go beyond that world. You look at games and you hope. I used to look where it says, oh, it's ages 12 to 14. And I would say, wow, I'm still able to play. I'm only 13. When I turned 14 and 15, when you go to school, and now you start looking at the girls, you start falling, oh my God, look at that girl. You forget. You fade away from your childhood memories. You fade away from everything. Then when you turn 18, you date all the girls you want to during your youth, whatever. I mean, if you're a guy, obviously, if you're a girl, you date whatever. But the thing is, when I turned 18, I got married towards 18, 19 years old. I'm still married to the same beautiful wife. I've been married almost 38 years. And we'll be 38 years, actually, I think, in October. But I'm going to tell you one thing, though. When I got married, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I never, and it sounds crazy to say this, I never even tried pot in my life. And I can tell you that this is 100% true coming from me, my friend, because even though I used to go out dancing every weekend when I was between 17, 18, 16 and 18, actually, that I enjoy life. I went out almost every weekend and stuff with a bunch of my friends. None of us drank, smoked, or did pot, which is crazy. So I grew up in Manhattan, in Washington Heights. People that tell me, well, let me tell you, man, I don't know, bro. I grew up in Washington Heights, in Manhattan, 173rd Street, between Broadway and Fort Washington. And I was there till the 7th grade, where I came over to New Jersey. But my parents stayed with the apartment because my stepfather had a son who lived in the area. And every weekend, and we did this for 10 years, we go back and forth, okay? The thing I regret is that the apartment we had was a 3-bedroom apartment, and the rent, which was rent control, was $178 a month in the year 2000. And I went there with my grandfather, and we gave it up. Man, if I knew what it would be like, I would have still been holding it. Because honestly, at the end of it, I was kind of using it as my storage. Like all the stuff I'm paying now for, I used to keep it there. I used to keep it in my apartment. In fact, one of the things I had is the Honor House Company. When they sold, they became guaranteed distributors, and they put out for a short time a 7-foot space shuttle. In fact, I think I'm going to, next time when I do another video, I'm going to actually show the ad, because I do have one of the original flyers, because I was able, through the company, to purchase 4 of them. I built one, and I had it in there, and it was like, I wanted to see what it was like, because at that time, okay, when that happened, I had not acquired my submarine. Because remember, growing up, I was a little scared, you know what I mean? And then, when I finally did get it in 1995, the fire hit me and destroyed it. I was able, through sources I can't say, acquire one in mint condition. Because I had mine, but I lost it in the fire. So this one, I got it, I guess in 98, 97, 98, give or take. But I got it. Like I said, I'm not going to say how, whatever, but anyway, that's a sub. The story of the sub, which a lot of times I don't really mention what exactly happened with the sub, because I just don't. I have it. As a kid, my mom, let me be honest, my grandfather had this little piggy bank, and he had dimes in it. And I would, when he filled it, I would turn it around, tick, 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 and I took out the dimes on the piggy bank. And I actually, when he passed away, I still own that little piggy bank. I took it, and it's a treasure to me forever. It reminds me of him, and it reminds me of, as a kid, my childhood memories are with that little pig that he had. I got the $7, I think it was, and the shipping was, if I remember, 75 cents, which is funny, 75 cents to ship a big box like that. And when I went to get the money order, I was scared. I was scared that I would drown, and I didn't order the sub. This part of my story I've never told anyone before, except a couple of friends, of course, that know me. But I'm being transparent here in my collecting and stuff, and I wanted to bring it out. Now, I've been delaying the unboxing of my buddy's box here because I got to be honest with you. When I was a kid and I got something like the 7-foot ghost, I put it next to my pillow in bed, like in the little nightstand, and I sleep with the envelope there, sealed. When I finally opened it, I made sure it stayed that way. That's why I still have that original thing from 1970s. Of course, don't get me wrong. I ordered the Honor House one first, like 6 months earlier, and the head blew on it, and it devastated me. I ordered the melting because even though I knew I was kind of ripped off already, which my mind, I don't know what it was to be ripped off. I was happy with the product. I thought the other one would supersede the first one because it had the scary monster face. and I ordered the Melton, but this time, buddy, kept the damn thing in the original packaging. I did not open it. I did not in any way possible think of opening or blowing up that balloon. And you will see it next week when I do the new video, whatever. You will see it's still in its original condition, which I swear you can blow it up. Okay, now, getting back. So the point I'm trying to say is I'm delaying purposely opening the rest of this box because I'm so excited. So here's the other part. Anyway, I did come. I got lucky. Here is now here we have three famous company. This is a photocopy of a comic book. Over here we have a company called the Gandalf Company, if I'm correct. Yeah, Gandalf. See, Gandalf products. Man, when it comes to being cheap, the worst ads, the worst looking everything is them. Look how, I mean, there's some of them that are nice, but look at the 7-foot Frankenstein and skeleton. How bad they drew that. You know, it doesn't have any resemblance to the. But anyway, over here, this one here is the famous company that they always. It's called the Fun House, not the Fun Factory. Fun Factory was mine. The Fun House used to always have this two money bags here, and it said you can send away for $1 million in U.S. banknotes. And what Jack Aboff, the owner of that company, which also was a friend of mine before he passed away, Jack Aboff told me that that particular ad paid for his kid's college. The one that said send 50 cents for $1 million in U.S. banknotes. In fact, that's the only Fun House ad you see in every comic book. On occasions, he would run a half-page ad like this, but not that often. Anyway, on top of that was the company American Circle Corp. Now, American Circle Corp was, you know, you had Johnson Smith, the granddaddy, which, of course, people don't know this. Johnson Smith was the first company that ever ran a comic book ad in 1949. Is that when the first Superman came out? In Action Comics #1. If you turn it to the back of Action Comics, you can see it online, you know, copies of it that they sell. You will see it has a full page ad of Johnson Smith Company for the novelty stuff. In the 1980s, early 1980s, Johnson Smith again ran ads in see, there was a time, people don't remember this, but between I think 80 and 84, there was a time that comic books were not sold anywhere. I know people say, oh, I'm telling you, I used to go looking for a comic book between 1980 and 82, 83, around there. I could not find a comic book anywhere. The only thing that resembled a comic book were the Archie digest that would be sold in like, you know, supermarkets right in the counter. That's the only comic books I remember. Now, when wrestling became famous, the mail order companies of the 70s and newer ones like Brad's Fun Shop, I forgot the other name, but ILF or something like that, they started running a lot of novelty ads again in wrestling magazines, which got me excited because this is the time when I started doing this mail order stuff, and it gave me the opportunity to jump in the bandwagon with the original legendary ones. Again, the original Fun House, which was still in business, actually Jack Aboff started running half-page ads and stuff, and he used the Sunday newspaper, you know, when they have those inserts inside the Sundays, he would run ads in there too. I don't know if they were profitable because I don't know if that was, but here's the story I'm trying to say. 1981, and I challenge anyone to look this up. 1949, whatever, Johnson Smith was #1. 1980s, Johnson Smith resurfaced and put ads again in the back of Harvey Publications, which reignited the, you know, Richie Rich, Casper, Sat Sack, which those were my favorite comics of all time. So I started buying them, and in back, the full cover, boom, Johnson Smith. 1993. 92 going into 93. So if you buy a March issue that went on sale, I'm sorry, I think it was a February or March. I could be wrong. I'm sorry. Yesterday I showed Todd, the one I'm doing this video for, but I forgot the exact date today. You know, that's what happens when you get old. I think it was March or February of 1992. Any DC Comics, I was the last guy that ran an ad under Fun Factory. And you can tell because it has the 7-foot ghost in it, which is something I've always loved. So again, what is it I hold? I challenge anybody out there, go do your research. If you can say this is wrong. Fun Factory was the last time a mail order company that sold novelties and magic ran an ad in comic books. And that was in 1993, DC Comics. The cost, almost $5,500 for 1 month. And we ran it, I believe, in 1 or 2 months. Wrong, I'm sorry. We ran 1 month. 1 month in DC Comics, and then we went to Boys Life magazine. But you will see that Johnson Smith holds the title of the first ad ever, and not House of the Unusual, Fun Factory, which is my company, holds the last ad they ever ran in any comic book publication for novelties. Now, here's one interesting fact. They're all gone. Johnson Smith, after 114 years, closed its doors in December of 2019. Look it up. Go to their site. You're going to see, they tell you right there, they closed their door. House of the Unusual is the last company still standing. There is another company which goes way back to the 70s. But I don't know. I mean, the owner's still alive. His name is Bob. And he ran a company called Abracadabra Magic Shop. He's the guy that sold me those plants that look like Frankenstein. Yeah, he's still alive. And I think his company is still in business. But, vaguely. He doesn't really do too much. I'm the only company left. And I'm trying to get people on board this company. People like you. People that can together continue to make it work. Continue to bring back those memories to people. Now, do understand what I'm about to tell you. The companies that are still, doing business, or what I want to say is, if you go to my site, houseoftheunusual.com, I've got a blog. I started a forum there, and a couple of people already have joined up. It would be beautiful if you guys join up. I'm not asking you for money. I'm not asking you to even purchase. I'm asking you to go on the site and become a part of the team, man. Let's discuss what's going on. I started with Joe Pavlich, a podcast radio station. We just did our first podcast. We're going to have, trust me when I'm telling you, it's going to be great. The second one is coming. It's going to be every Wednesday. I think I did for 8 p.m. They're going to be on, the new podcast is going to be on because, you don't want to do more than once a week for now because it's a little, complicated. But anyway, let's go back to the unboxing. I already finished. I don't want to make this video longer than I thought it would become. Anyway, American Circle, the reason I told you the story about the mail order company is because the guy who was the advertising guy for American Circle, his name was Bob Levy. And Bob Levy, when he worked for this company, when this company was kind of folding its doors, not folding, but it was still in the mid-70s, he put an ad out looking for someone that wanted to start a mail order company with him. Lou Weiss saw the ad. At that time, Lou Weiss was in the steel business, so the steel business was a little slow. And what he did is they got together and they started the Fun Factory. That's why when you look at ads in the comic books of the Fun Factory, lo and behold, they look like these. They look just like this, same artwork, because it was taken from there. It was the same guy who, so American Circle has that my Fun Factory came from it, basically. As it progressed and Fun Factory, became, House of the Unusual, whatever. The thing I wanted to say with American Circle is that it's so hard. I've never seen a catalog of American Circle, even though they ran in every single comic book. I've never seen a catalog out there. I've looked for them for 30, 40 years. I do have one, though. There was a friend of mine who was able, and I drove 2.5 hours to obtain it. I still have it. Only one catalog of this company. Yet, there was something, the way they did the ads with this company, like sometimes they would show like this little guy, and they would say, sneezing tablets here and all that, snowstorm tablets and sneezing powder. But somehow they showed him when they did the snowstorm tablet one, it looks like there's a guy sitting at a window like in a restaurant, and you see the snow outside, and you see like the guy in the front. Sometimes when I was in New York and it was raining, it was really cold, there was something about the American Circle ads that no other company had. They felt comfortable, man. They felt like like cozy, you know? And that's something why I always loved American, and I respect American Circle, because thing is, I never order anything as a kid from them, which is bizarre. And here's where Mr. Todd, who I'm doing this video for, comes in. When I was a kid, I saw this ad, and I was in love with that ad for the 25 lesson in hypnotism. Now, what I didn't notice was that 25 lessons in hypnotism says free hypno coin with 25 lessons in hypnotism. So I thought it was a book entitled 20, because I kind of didn't understand why sometimes they had the same ad in American Circle, but one of them would say 25 lessons for $1 and the other one say you got the disc. I'm like, is it the same? Why are they running the same ad twice? And then, you know, of course, with my mail order craziness and all my insanity that I spent 40 years on, I found out that the American Circle Corp, what they actually sold, and this is funny, I only found this out about 2 years ago. And I'll tell you what was kind of crazy. I always thought they had, 25 lessons with the disc, and they would send out the 25 lessons in hypnotism. Now, prior to the internet, in order for me to obtain a copy of 25 lessons in hypnotism, one time I got a phone bill for $878, which my wife almost killed me. Because I started calling people from this magazine, used to be called the Toy Shop, where you would, find to see who had. Nobody had the damn thing. Finally, one guy in Chicago had it. And he sold it to me for like $10, right? And when I purchased it, okay, it was a copy. It didn't have the guy hypnotizing the lady in the cover. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. I thought that, the whoever did this ad, the photo would be something that would relate to the actual product. So I'm looking on eBay last year, and I noticed that they had the flyer, which I sell, the 25 lesson, the little flyer that was sold with the hypno coin. And the flyer I have, though, and the one I had us years ago that I actually lost in the fire, this one, in order to obtain an original copy, Dave, my partner, had to drive almost 4 hours, which is insane, and pay $200 for a piece of paper for me to be able to sell. Okay, the coin, we had the hypno coin, we had them reproduced in the States. It was a little bit expensive, believe it or not, but I got him, because my idea is, if I can't do it, I'll join forces with somebody like Dave, who had the connections, and I want to bring back everything possible from this era. So I noticed the flyer. When I look at the picture of the flyer on eBay, it says American Circle, and I go, that's what it was. In other words, what I wanted was not the book 25 Lessons in Hypnotism that I spent, and now I own, like, no kidding when I say this, about 40 copies. Mint condition, right? But that's insane. I noticed every company from Johnson Smith, Honor House, they put their publishing thing on it, and they all had the same copy, right? Because the copy was originally published in 1941, I think. So, or I could be wrong. That could be 49. But anyway, here it said, Hypnocoin free with 25 lessons in hypnotism. And then it goes on to say, do you realize the power that hypnotism will give, et cetera, for $1? The catch was, I thought it was the book with the disc. I didn't know what the really 25 lessons in hypnotism were. But anyway, I just wanted to show you. That's why I was looking, because I wanted you to show you the ad that meant so much to me, and why this video is so important, and why I'm delaying so much to get to that second. Anyway, my friend Todd, who's making this video possible. Let me get rid of all this posters, put them over here on the side. Had the flyer I sell. The only difference with this flyer, see, is because when you look at the bottom of the flyer, what does it say? American Circle Corp. This was what I wanted when I was a kid so bad. The one on eBay, when I seen it, I got distracted in my job. Somebody comes to ask a question when you're in the end of the thing, and I lost it. It sold for $122. And I'm like, For a flyer? Are you kidding me? I didn't care about the disc because I own like freaking 20 originals. So I didn't care. I wanted this piece of paper. This piece of paper means in fact, I'm so excited that I finally have it. 30, 40 years, man. I finally got 25 lessons in hypnotism. And thousands of dollars later. So yes, Todd, I would cry, my friend, but I can't do it in public. But I want to thank you. This means a lot to me. You earned the last copy of my specs, aqua specs. Anyway, I'm actually taking it out of the package for the first time. Because, see? American Circle Court. And these were the 25 lessons in hypnotism. It was 25 hints, not lessons. So what you did is you paid $1 for this little flyer, and they would send you the free hypno coin, which came with the flyer anyway. Anyway, this here is gold, man. And I'm putting it gently down. And Todd, thank you, buddy. Now, Todd, being the leading person when it comes to sea monkeys, he's also with the original owner, which, an old friend, known them for quite a while, but Todd has a stronger relationship with the person because he does. I knew the original guy, Harold, met him when I was 1984. But Todd is now Transscience Corporation. I think he's developing something with the sea monkeys. Or he's sending me... Oh, you know what this is? I'm scared to take it out of here because it's tight. Oh, wow. You know what this is? These are cards. Cards you could send somebody like... and these are the empty envelopes. Wow. Hey, thanks, Todd. This is cool, man. You do good work, buddy. You really do. This is so cool. Wait. Can't afford a little bit of dust. And now what I'm putting back in here, because I don't want to really take this out right now, is I'm scared that this could get damaged. This is a 40-year wait, man. Like I said, I have everything. I knew what it was. I have the Hypnocoin, but I didn't have an American Circle Court flyer with the coin. And the one time I had a chance to win it on eBay, and I told the guy, yo, I'll pay you $40 for a photocopy. You know what he told me? I don't want to reduce the price for the person that just paid $100. Come on, man. Who cares? It's not like... I do that. If somebody asks me, can you get it? Of course, I'll give it to you, man. I don't know why some people get so dumb when it comes to... Listen, people out there are paying... People out there, are trying to earn a living. They're having a damn tough time. Why are we going to go there and rip them off? That's why I reproduce all the stuff I can. They can't have the original. You can have a copy. At least you feel comfortable. You have a copy. I'm happy with that. Hey, we want our original. Okay, big deal. The original is fine. But if you can get an original, you can't afford an original. Hey, and I got to tell you something. There's one person, Laura Legends. She's a YouTuber. I can only tip my hat to her. She is such a phenomenal girl. I actually sent her an email one time, told her that she's a female version of me. She loves milk. I forget what it is. I think when she cracks her egg, she takes out the little, the little white thing in the egg. And it looks like, I don't know, I hate that. So usually when I take an egg, I take a little knife and take off the little white thing, and then I fry it. But I don't, she's kind of the same thing as me. And my wife goes to me, that was you in a different world. I go, yeah. I mentioned her because recently me and her have been communicating with each other and stuff. And let me tell you, she's phenomenal, man. when she does videos, I really watch them. I hope that you guys can go to Laura Legends. She does toy reviews, and a lot of people out there that are collectors will like her channel. She not only does, novelty. She did the one, I think the first part she did of Mail Order Mysteries, the book, which is technically a biography mostly of my collection. And Kirk Damaris put a lot of time into making that book. And some of the people not mentioned that also partake of that book were, there was one particular section there with Mask and all that, which is Ray Castiles. He spent, kind of like underrated there because they didn't give him too much of the credit, the company that published the book, but he's the one that has all the Mask in the book. The majority of the rare stuff in the book are mine. And, hey, I didn't make a dime with that book either, so. But it sold a lot, and I've gotten people from Australia contacting me because of the book. But anyway, Laura Legends did a review on the book recently, about 6 months ago. She's got over 1 million hits, man. And I was like, damn. I respect her, man. And you know what, Laura? Shout out to you, babe. Continue, because you're the best, man. You're the best. And I love what you're doing, and I respect you for what you've done and what you have accomplished. God bless you, and I hope to see you into the 1 million subscribers, which is probably going to happen soon anyway. So, getting back, I got to keep opening the package here. So now, he gave me the best part of the package, which is something, wow, this is a big one. I'm going to leave this one for last because there's a smaller one in there. I don't know that, but oh gosh, this is fantastic, man. This is the only unboxing I've ever done, but I'll tell you. Now here, what is this? Oh my God, he wraps up stuff really good. Which of course I'm going to wrap it back in the way it was, and it's going back into this box probably for 40 years more. Look what he sent me here. I guess it's an original Horrible Herman. This, the Asiatic insect. This was sold very popular in famous monsters of filmland. See if you see what it is. It's kind of like I don't know. It's just like some little critter, but things are flying out of it. Maybe it is an insect for real. This is really cool. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate this, buddy. That's an original little box of that little guy. I think I had a few of those. Maybe I still do. Good luck finding where I have. But he sent me one of his, which is I appreciate. Now I'm leaving everything here because once I sign off, everything's going to get packaged and put back where it came in the box. This one here, Todd, you got me shaking here, buddy. Dying to see, but Todd, that's the one, brother. That's the one. That's the one. Let me see. I didn't want to make this video that long. It's almost an hour. Amazing. But anyway, okay. Let me see what's in here. This here could be... What is this? Ho ho! The original sea monkeys. Of course, a modern day one. I'm going to tell you something. Todd has something in the works that he's bringing back out with the help of the original owner of, or the wife of the owner. I'm not going to say her name because I don't think it's right without her permission. But the person that owns Transscience Corporation, Todd is coming out with a novelty that I'm not going to say what it is either, but I think a lot of people will want it. But thank you, Todd. This is really cool. The sea monkeys, completely sealed. It's really nice. And look, it still sells for a lot. You can still go to Walmart, Target, and this is really cool. And the story about the sea monkeys is, of course, when I met Harold, I went to the International Toy Trade Show in New York City in 1984. And it was 1984 because that's the first time I attended the show. And once you do the entire tour of the Jacob Javits Center, they also had the toy building at 205th Avenue. And I went to that building because it would tell you, on the flyer, go there, you could see the rest. So when I got off, I forgot what floor it was on. Gosh, I don't know if sixth floor, fourth floor, something like that. It opens up, and lo and behold, um, there was the X-ray glasses. I saw them on a display. I go, oh my God, look, the X-ray. So immediately I got off the floor and I go over there to see. And there's Harold with his young wife at the time. And I forgot what it was, but I mentioned the name that he wasn't too happy to hear. The owner of Honor House, and I say, hey, the owner of Honor House. So he goes, that man, let me tell you. So it's a difference. I'll say the story in another video, but he goes, let me tell you about mail order. So he goes like this and grabbed me by the shoulder. And there was one of those folding chairs. And he goes, whack, sits me down, man. The entire show I was there. I think he must have been talking to me for almost 2 hours. I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. Because I know I wanted to go back to the main building and I was like, oh sheesh, man. But he told me everything, that how he knew Sears, the person that started Sears Roebuck, how he knew Johnson Smith, and how, everything. And I respected him for it. And we became, you know what I would do? Every year, at least twice a year, I would call Harold up and say, hey, how you doing? How's everything? And I did that for many years. And then there was a time period, of course, that, I kind of, I think between 1995, after I had the fire, I kind of got disappointed a little bit, and I stayed away from doing, I didn't stop doing mail order. I just was kind of like, hurt for what happened, so I didn't really kind of care much. But you know what? In 1989 through 1990, I had a magic shop in West New York, and all the stuff that I lost there was 80% of that magic shop stuff. It wasn't like the real. You see, God does things in an interesting way. I had my 7-foot ghost in a locker, like in the first floor. You had to climb a ladder. No kidding, a 20-foot ladder that you would push. And it had like, huge ladder, like the ones they'd use in UPS and the post office and stuff like that, to reach up way above. And it was, I think, $20 a month. And I had a locker that was 5 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet, Inside that locker, I had my 7-foot ghost, my Boney the skeleton, my 7-foot Frankenstein. A 5-alarm fire destroyed the facility. And the reason I know God did not want me out of the business, whatever, all the important stuff that really meant to me survived. The stuff that did not survive, I was able to get again when eBay came around. And I spent, 10 years recollecting what I had originally. But I still have stuff here in some of the drawers here in my office here outside that you could see kind of like where I'm located. If you go to my website, there's like a whole tour. And the funny thing is, this is this. I still have a 10 by 12 foot storage that I pay $180 for each month in a climate control that still is packed to the door, which that's the one that Utah got to see yesterday when I had you on FaceTime. The other one is in my house. I have a walk-in closet that's 5 feet by 4 feet something. And my wife wants to kill me because I have the closet where I think in there I have like those, those boxes, file boxes. I have like over 30, 40 of them in there. A filing cabinet. It's all in that closet. And you open the door and literally, there's no, you got to like, this thing, I wouldn't be able to shove it in there, It's been 40 years collecting. And, you would think that my wife is fed up. What do you think she bought me for my birthday, August 4th? She bought me a radio from Halloween that plays like the monsters. It sounds like Count Dracula. Oh, and she got me a mat. So they keep buying me toys. My daughter gets me. I came across a special edition Robbie the Robot that were selling in Walmart, and of course I love Robbie, so I wound up buying 5 of them. One of my friends, God bless him, man, he's in Texas. This guy sent me 2 of them. And those I will never sell. The ones I bought here, yeah, probably. But those 2 mean because it was given to me by a man, a man of God, a man who did it out of his love. And the funny thing, he paid $53 to have it shipped overnight. They cost about 25 each or something like that. But yeah, I still buy toys. It keeps growing, man. It keeps growing. So what I'm hoping to do eventually is, because right now I'm figuring, I'm 56, just turned 56. I think my daughter's finished with college, so I think in the next year or two, I like to do this full time instead of just a hobby like I've been doing it all these years, and just do my stuff. That's why I'm setting up my podcast, because here's the greatest thing. The best thing to do is build an audience and get friends all over. Forget about how much money. It's not about making money here. It's creating friendship and building an audience. And then, yes, trust me, when the stuff I sell on my website, I'm between eBay fees and all that stuff, I'm not making anything. Not enough to survive. I got to use money from my job to pay for the stuff. What that tells you is that I'm doing this because it's a passion. And I'm now putting out a book that I've been thinking of for the last 20 years. And let me tell you who's helping me. The guy who's doing my book cover, and I'm talking about not the book, the laying out the book cover, is a guy who's very famous. I cannot say his name because he works for one of the networks. And that's off. That's private. The guy who's drawing the cover, who drew it already, which I'm waiting now for the guy who's colorizing it to do. His name is Cav. I could say that. He's my buddy Cav. He did it, and he has a friend named Vasco who have been in the comic book industry for what, 40 years or more? And he's doing the colorizing for me. The guy writing the book for me is Joe Pavlovich. He's the guy who does the podcast with me. A professional writer for magazines and all that stuff. So you see, that would have cost me 20 grand just to do a design for the front cover, whatever. This book that's coming out is going to consist of the following. It's the first part of it is Joe and his life story, who he is, then how he meets me, and then I connect him with each of the people that ran the businesses back then. Craig Taubeck, Lou Weiss. Kath, the artist, is a hell of a writer, man. He is top-notch in doing things like the testimonials he had as a kid. He went out and he reached a couple of people, whatever, and they've submitted testimonials. And here's the way my book is going to be laid out. The first part of the book is going to be the stories of mail order and what they are. Then, when we get, and believe me, some of those, I'm not going to say too much of it because, it'll throw away. And not only that, you can get copycats. It's not a smart thing to do when So, the part of the novelties will have the ads that we grew up like the ads in this thing. We'll have the photograph of the item. And then, here's the best part. It's going to have the testimonials of people. It's going to be a fun read. I guarantee you this thing is going to... I'm going to print, initially, 500 hardcover copies. I'm going to do that self-printing. The rest is going to be given to a company who's going to mass print it, Those are going to be soft cover. So the first 500 will also have an insert in it, which is going to be a comic book that Cav drew about me searching for the 7-foot robot plans, because the ultimate goal is that I'm hoping somebody someday will say, "Hey Eddie, look what I got here. I've been searching for them." It's kind of like Sir Lancelot and the Knight's Table, where he's searching for the Holy Grail. 38 years I've been after the plans. These robot plans. I was going to ask Laura Legends if in one of her shows she can actually ask one of her people, because she gets thousands of views. I wish I got that many. But then again, that's because she dedicates all her time. Well, the robot I showed before. Anyway, I think it's time to finish this. This has gone actually now for an hour, 10 minutes. It's too much. I hope whoever does watch the whole video, God bless you. And if you do, I hope you get taken back by it. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. And one of the things I want to do is I want to do unboxings like this. And like I said, I'm going to pretty soon have the Polaris submarine, the two Ghosts, and I'm going to unbox it for the first time. But we're going to make those a lot less than 30 minutes long. I'm not going to. This tonight, it's just the first unboxing. And, you know, Todd, you did it, man. The house of the unusable has become the house of the usable. I love it, bro. Thank you very much, man. God bless you, bro. I wish I met you before, man. Thanks for what you did. You really, honestly can tell you filled a part of my life that, you know, it means a lot to me. Having said that, good night. God bless everybody. Be safe out there. Everything will be back to normal soon.